the presentation process is something I came up with as a way of kind of standardizing how you push the gun out.
Mm.
Okay? 4 words: fingers, palm, pressure, leverage. Okay, real easy to remember. Fingers, palm, pressure, leverage. What that means is this. All right, so the first thing we do, whether it's from a draw, whether it's entering a position, whether it's after a reload, whatever, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to touch our fingers exactly where we want them to be. Right. So in your case, you're doing a little bit of knife hand thing, right?
Yeah.
That can cause your sequence to be out of whack, and now you don't leverage on the gun as hard. So I
Really?
want my fingers touching exactly where I want them to be. Right.
Oh,
And
so instead of knife hand, like have it like
yeah,
curled already.
it's already curled.
So do you also have them like pre-curled when you like at rest, or how does that work?
For my case, it happens to it's just a natural thing to curl it. If you
Mm.
want to in the beginning, excuse me, you can curl it, right? It is a game changer for most people. It is a huge light bulb moment. You'll get a couple things from this. You'll get much more consistency
Mm.
in your presentation. You leverage on your grip much harder, and your grip will be ready to shoot before you're even on target. And that's going to allow you to start shooting more aggressively earlier. In your case, feeling the knuckle in the right spot,
Mm.
it's not very sensitive. It's not very consistent. But
Mm.
your fingers, it's just like the way I draw. When I draw, I don't go web of the hand down. I actually wrap my fingers touch first, and then my web
Mm.
wraps around, right?
Okay.
Because my fingertips are very sensitive. If your fingertips are very sensitive,
Yeah.
they're very sensitive to position changes,
Okay.
right? So this now, okay, it's right here. This also sets the leverage point, which is what you're feeling, right? Fingers touch, right? I'm here at this point, right? I'm under the dominant
Mm.
eye, right? My
Yeah.
shoulders are comfortable at this point. So if I draw the gun, it's up to here, right?
Yeah.
So and with my fingers touching. Number two, palm, just touch the palm. That's all it means, right? Number three, is apply pressure. And now I
Mm.
apply pressure a specific way. I'm not doing this. I pull the fingers to the palm. Oh, this way is the better way. I pull the fingers to the palm and push
Mm.
the palm to the fingers.
Push finger to the palm, palm to the fingers. You're bending at these first knuckles.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you're bending. You'll do it right when you have it on the gun. But I'm
Mm.
trying to pull my fingers to touch my palm here, and I'm trying to
Mm.
push my palm to touch my fingers there. You should feel
Okay.
it. You'll feel when it's right. You'll feel it's very tight in the back here, right?
Mm.
This will feel very tight. So like you can see here, fingers touch, palm touches, and pressure. Like my gun already is very locked in. Like I could pretty much hammer away on the trigger and not have too much go on here. That's number three, and then number four is the leverage part where I'm just gonna, in my case, I'm rotating the elbows just a little bit, so it comes up, and I'm able to get a straight dot where I could fire right away without even
Mm.
having really. My grip is ready to shoot, so I don't have to check that my grip is ready. That's a common problem that most people have. Even if you're on target perfect, you're not ready to fire because your brain goes, okay, are we ready to shoot? Goes down here, checks everything. Yes, okay, send the signal back, right? Okay,
Mm.
fire. That costs you 3/10 of a second every time on your draw. Or any position entry, or any after your reload. Anytime you have to reestablish a grip, you're doing this process over and over again. My grip
Mm.
is ready here. I can fire full speed here, and I still have all of this to do.
Mm.
Imagine how much confidence that gives you. When I present the gun, you'll see guys like Christian Seiler do this kind of style presentation. The muzzle
Mm.
stays flat the entire time. So
Yeah.
so it ends up being more out than up. So it's not like this.
Yeah.
It's not like very totally linear, but it's more
Mm.
out and then it rises up. So when I do
Okay.
it, I can fire. Right? As soon as I see the dot touch whatever I'm looking, the streak of the
Mm.
dot. So it's like you see
Because
that little tick up at the very end? Big one for you. So the key is maybe start just at your chest level and do like build drills like we talked about. So start here,
mm.
fingers, palm, pressure, leverage, and do a build drill, right?
Mm.
Do those to start, and then work on getting the gun in that spot.
Yeah.
Get the gun in that spot, and then start doing the full draw. So see how it's already starting to curl. Let me
Yeah.
do it slower than that.
Mm.
Right. So my hand is already curled up.
Okay.
right? So if I didn't like it has that little bit of curl to begin with.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't start off with it, but it automatically just happens to do that. Well, the fingertips, if you want to talk about a location, you're going to feel that it's touching a certain spot in your hand.
Mm.
Right? So your fingertips are going to contact the back of your palm, and you could actually see kind of right here. Whoop, right there is where I've ripped skin off many times.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Ah.
So you're going to have a kind of a reference point. And typically speaking, the middle of the knuckle is going to center the trigger guard.
Mm.
Right? And that's
Yeah.
that's what's gonna, you can see it right here. This it's centered.
Mm.
And that's gonna give you all those points of contact are gonna give you like a good positive location of where you're at. It's
Yeah.
somewhat proprioception, but it's also the feedback that you get from where you touch. You're gonna know when you're off or when you're off.
Mm.
This is the finger, the fuck you finger. I spent a lot of time focusing on being very visually reactive to the tune of 20 splits and under. That's something that I've learned over the past year is that you can see 20 splits and actually know what's going on really,
Mm.
really clearly. I got that when I trained with Eric Raffel.
Oh, very cool.
He shoots in a very conscious, like he says he's very conscious when he shoots. And he's
Really?
aware of where the dot is for everything. His like confirmation, like he doesn't really talk about confirmation or anything like that. Like he expects to see the dot for every shot. His intention is that he trains himself to such a high level of speed that just as a result, your information processing goes up. So it's a little
Mm.
bit different. And when I heard that, I'm like, man, I said if he could do it, I could do it. And I started playing around with it. And it's really, it is easy. It's not easy, but it's simple to do. You can do it. You can, and now for me, like I don't feel like I'm rushing, but I'm going fast.
Mm.
While having a good awareness of where things are going. A lot of the stuff that we do is not like revolutionary information.
Mm.
However, the revolutionary thing is how you take things and combine them. My
Yeah.
grip is a
Customize it to
combination.
you.
Yes. And so my grip is a combination of probably 5 different concepts or 6 different concepts. Some of it might like so the wrist thing that was from Jerry Mitchell like originally. And I've heard that from a bunch of people throughout. Um the crush support hand, that's from Ben. The ring and pinky finger, that's for me. The position in the hand, that's for me. The elbows rotated, that's a Vogel thing, right? So all those
Yeah.
things kind of all play into it. And they all create this new thing. I don't consider myself a big out of the box thinker. So my solution to that issue was making the box as big as I could make it. Problems, issues that arise, you just got to try to be resourceful and figure out how to frame it in a way that makes you able to solve it. Anything
Mm.
is solvable, you put enough work into it and you pay enough attention, you can solve the issue. And then just understanding how you are. I mean, most people would say I'm pretty creative at this point, but that was my original thing. Like I'm not terribly creative. I'm very resourceful and I'm able to learn quickly. So open that shit up as big as I can so that I have all these options where everybody else is this big.
You
I
know?
tell you, man, some of the most difficult issues that have been overcome by accident. You found
Really?
something out by accident, you're like, holy shit, this thing is awesome, and you go with it.
That's pretty sick.
It's powerful, man.
You're a wizard, Rob.
I don't know about that.